Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Just bear with us. I'm just going to press a button on Instagram, apparently, so it'll go live. It won't go live. Fuck Instagram. Honestly, man. Oh, it's went live. Absolutely fantastic. If you're watching on Instagram, there's probably a slight lag, but who cares? Let's not care. Hope you're doing well. Tyneside answer to Shamima Begum here. If you're listening on the audio, you'll not know why, but that's Dooney. If you could share the stream, that would be very, very much appreciated. Also, hello to Glasgow, Arita, and we'll crack on. Seems to be a bit of a lag on the stream, but never mind. Tell you what, I'll stick some of the Ravi on, and we'll see who arrives. Well, we do. See people are arriving now. See you though. Read. The majority of things we're going to talk about today are things people don't want to hear or know about. If you want something else, go somewhere else, because these are the things that I just think are important today. And not just today, every day. And the reason I'm like almost half apologizing for it is because that's the fucking world that we're living in now, apparently. So anyway, just before we go in, they're not trying to fix anything. They're trying to break everything and leave it broken. You might want to start paying closer attention. The rules of the game have absolutely changed, everybody. Yes, they have. Anyway, just a little nod to the Clean Air Club. I've been having a bit of dialogue with them. As one of the patrons got in touch, Dave, and he asked about a gig that he was putting on. So I spoke to Clean Air Club in Chicago and asked their advice, and they say I think it was just over 100 meters squared, the venue. So they recommend the Smart Air Blast Mini for most use cases that musicians are in. They also do a bigger one for bigger venues. What I think is amazing is with Smart Air, the Smart Air stuff, because I looked into them after Clean Air Club recommended them, they're the ones that they use, is that they're really cheap for what they are, but they're really good quality. So I'm in dialogue with Smart Air now, seeing if we can hook up some kind of arrangement with them, because it's a social enterprise also. So 100% of the profits go back into it, which obviously is an amazing thing. So really happy to see that people are getting in touch and asking for advice regarding events and gigs now, not just the house, which is brilliant too. Also, thank you to the multiple people last week who cheered us up by getting in touch out of the blue and saying, Reg, your guide for air purifiers and X, Y, or Z ailments seems to be clearing up. It's not just about COVID, it's pollen season coming up. So, you know, really good for that too. So if you want to like try and get past the delusional people in your life, just say, oh, just for pollen. Mad how we have to like talk like that these days. Anyway, just thanks to everybody. Today I found out that we're in the top 0.24% of all podcasts that currently exist. There are currently 4,318,424 podcasts in existence, according to the latest figures. Thank you for your continued support wherever you are in the world. I mean, it's not an easy listen, so imagine where we'd be if I was telling you what you want to hear. Imagine. Imagine that. Where would we be? And how would we be? And what would we be doing? Oh, for fuck's sake, is the mic not on, is it not? Jesus, I'm pleased I went to the comments. You can probably hear this as well. I've turned that on, by the way. It should work now. Slaz, thanks for letting us know, as ever. Morning to everybody who's arrived now. Hello to all. You can probably tell I'm a bit fucking nonplussed today, so mistakes have occurred. Just the stuff happening in my life, and some things I can talk about on here, and some things I can't. And I'm really not happy today, and I'm not going to pretend that I am, just to slap on some fake smile and troll through this shit one more time. My life's really hard. Like, I'm basically trying to run it on a shoestring while staying alive, because like, fucking have a much higher chance of like having a real problem if I get COVID because of what's happened to us. And it's becoming really clear the more things I get invited to, the more fucking abnormal that I'm seeing, you know? And that's okay in normal times up to a point. And I use the okay advisory. It's never all right to abnormalize somebody, you know? Not unless they're a nonce or something. So I just take some of it on the chin as like whatever. But the additional layer is like they're coming from a completely and utterly abnormal place counter to the evidence. And it's just honestly, man, it's been going on for so long. Like just the world and how I relate to it as well. And I know there's probably other people who can relate to this. But I'm speaking for me for once. I'm fucking struggling. And I'll be all right in a few days because that's how this goes, because there's no security or safety in the world in terms of like known knowables. I'm going to illustrate a couple of them in this show as well, just to like, you know, show you what's going on, show you why people are being charged up with like misinformation. And then it comes back on people like us. And I'm at the fucking sharp end of this, as you know. And honestly, professionally, it's hard to bear. But when it's personal, fuck's sake, man. That's like you can go around slapping people, like, is it? You know what I mean? COVID risk anyway. Anyway, one of the little themes here. The ruling class is the ruling class. You don't need conspiracy theories. So, on that basis, it'll form one of the tentacles of this show. And the likes of Brand, etc., are there as Pied Pipers to literally spin bullshit. Just spin the bullshit. So throwing the conspiracy theories out. I'm going to illustrate one or more of Brand's in this show. He's such an unconscionable piece of shit at this point. I don't even know what to tell you. So anyway, if you want to silence a Russell Brand fan, at least for a few seconds, ask them this. If Brand exposes the deep state on his show, why does he not expose the fact that his paymaster, Peter Thiel, attended his first Bilderberg meeting in 2007 and chaired their steering committee soon after? Why does Brand fail to mention any of this ever? And also, fans of Brand, now you can't claim to not know this. Now, what you going to say? Fuck all. That's literally, right? Literally, Bilderberg, for those who don't know, like people who've been into conspiracy theories a long time, me, when they were fun, it's why I know at the far end of a fart about loads of them. So when I see these newcomers like hopping on the Brand train, I'm like, you absolute mugs. And that forms a large thread of this entire output, where it's just like, hold on a minute, I used to be into that shit. And you're absolutely just rehashing the same old shit, and it's debunked and fucked up. And we'll find out more about Brand in a bit. Ask them that question, though. Ask them the question about Bilderberg. There's no answer for that if they want to hold on to their fucked up worldview. None. I mean, it'll be fun to watch them. Try. Trust me, it's really fun. Anyway, this one, I want to give a shout out to Pollinator Press Art on Instagram, Pollinator_press_art. COVID safety is solidarity. I think it says everything that it needs to say, and it's really nice to see iconography on the left start to actually reflect that people exist. Also another one from Anti-Binary PNW. No masks, no condoms, no respect. Protectionist community care, mask up and wrap up. Really great to see these things starting to happen, because where have the left been? So if this is a move within the left to start acknowledging reality instead of cosplaying as pricks, then fantastic. That's really playing to a potential audience build. But I don't care, because we'll build an audience of truth who sits apart from 19th century theorizing and tries to come up with solutions for now. Anyway, just something I want to mention. This from Prem Seeker, one of the lords. 2 seconds. Tesco pre-tax profits hit 2.3 billion, up from 882 million, 159% pay rise. Their profiteering is our cost of living crisis. Government pushes real wage cuts for workers, but no restraints on profiteering, executive pay and dividends. Can't revive the economy by profiteering. You can't, Prem. But They're not trying to. They're trying to break everything, steal money in a heist, and then fucking run that tape again, whilst blaming everybody else. I mean, a great example of this is the fossil fuel industry, who has known all about climate emergency since the 1950s at the very least, and found out this week BP were the actual ones to fund something like individual like carbon credit and carbon like carbon footprint that comes, well, it was certainly amplified by BP, and one of the reasons for that is to blame us and have us feeling guilty about like things we're not doing, and then like good little fucking serfs do the recycling. Loads of that goes into fucking landfill, man. We're being played. It's the fossil fuel companies, not us. I mean, I'm doing like recycling at this point through gritted teeth. And you're talking to somebody who's like ran sessions on recycling in youth projects and schools. I've been at this a long time on many fronts, you see. And I'm sitting here going, fuck this shit. Because we're like really, as we'll see later in the show, in the shit. But we can still fix it. But one of the reasons I wanted to do this kind of show today is I saw a comment on my social media yesterday, and it's like, known all this for a while. Somebody being really honest, known all this for a while. I'm just ignoring it because that's the only way I can cope and all of this. And I'm sitting there going, dude, we can still fix this. I haven't said that to her. But if you're listening now, I'm saying it to you now, we can still fix this. I'm sitting here depressed out my brains today, like really pissed off with the way I'm being treated and stuff. But I'm still telling you we can fix this. And I'm going to still keep turning up and doing it. I mean, at least I'll get to be there at the end. It's like, you know, you look at like the denialism, as we'll express soon, and it's not the best. So anyway, we've got some video on that for you later. On the screen for audio people, loads of lovely fruit and veg and gardening and just really wholesome business. Rebellion isn't what you think it is the slogan, is the words on the screen. What does this mean? We'll unpack it. So at Scott Duncan WX on your Twitter. Too many records to count, yet another astonishing weekend of warmth for Europe. April national records exceeded in Slovenia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Croatia, but many other notable site records fell. A few on the screen in Austria and other places too. France also. 32.6 degrees C in 33. Wow, that's a lot. That's in April. Anyway, on the right from the Telegraph, 9th of April, recent. Farmers warn of first year without harvest since Second World War. This is in the UK. Unprecedented flooding and wettest 18 months on record mean crop yields will be significantly down with risk of food shortages. Yes, there will be. Somebody also said on the comments today that, you know, the weather will kind of mildly affect the UK, but everywhere else will be fucked. Yeah, but that's a lot of our food grows abroad. We haven't been able to feed ourselves since hundreds of years, I think it was. I did actually do a show on this where I broke it down about a year ago. So if you want to know, go know. More. This one for me, you know, the Day After Tomorrow film, you know, the ocean current that collapses. Check this. Critical ocean current showing early signs of collapse. Vital Atlantic circulation is at risk with potentially catastrophic implications for our weather. Still uncertain when and how fast it will collapse. I saw a study the other week, 2025, they were saying could be today. I mean, like what will happen there is horrifying. Horrifying. Here's a scary graph. Drink it in. Scare yourself. Sea surface temperatures for 2024 exceed previous records by a huge margin, it says here. Source, Climate Change Institute, University of Maine analysis of NOAA-OISST data. Class. Good times. So that's what's occurring. We're also seeing a huge upsurge in climate change denialism, and certainly in the COVID realms as well, which utterly sucks. Utterly. This is mad, this. So, like, I've never streamed to Instagram before, right?
And then you've got like, oh, people have joined and all of this. Never seen it before. Hello, Instagram people. Do us a favor, somebody on Instagram, right? Send us a message or whatever, and let us see if it works on our comments. That would be that'd be really good. Thank you to Gareth McDonald for the £6.93. Really appreciated, mate. If you want to do that too, you can go to Super Chat on YouTube and do it, or via PayPal, or if you would like to become a patron, patreon.com/CowDaily. Cheers, G. Also, your COVID awareness stuff has now given me an excuse to go full face kefir whenever I get my essentials delivered. Free Palestine for COVID. That's amazing, mate. That is fucking belter. Good for you. Also, thank you for the £13.40 as well, mate. We were born into an unjust system. We're not prepared to grow old in it. Bernadette Devlin. Oh, I love her, man. I love her. Do you know why? Bernadette Devlin MP for Middleston, 1960-1974, independent socialist. You'll know, G. Bernadette Devlin, man. Just what an absolute firebrand, but the epitome of an intelligent, just brilliant working class woman. If you don't know about Bernadette Devlin, seriously, man, check her out. She's just absolutely fucking brilliant. Glasgow for saying, he's got to ride the shite wave until a better one comes across. No point going the toxic positivity route. It's all right to not be all right, fam. Too many bams about. Totally, dude. And I absolutely will say if I'm not feeling well, and sometimes doing that and acknowledging that at the top of the show means by the end of the show I'm 50% better, or whatever arbitrary percentage we want to pull out of us. It's better to talk, and I hold to that, you know. Even though we've just done over a decade with this whole time to talk thing, and now everybody's shutting up. It's weird, like, but we got to hold that, man, because it is better to talk about this stuff. I mean, it just makes me like fucking sick to hold this stuff in. It needs to be, because as we've seen, it builds solidarity and people understand. Do you know what I'm saying? I hope you do. Right. MTB Matty, smoke wacky backy. Do you know what it is, right? After this, and after I've done all my work, I'm going to fuck off up a mountain, get heavily stoned. I wouldn't suggest anybody fucking does that, right? But I am a qualified mountain leader. So, you know, don't grass us up or I'll get struck off. I don't even fucking care anymore. I enjoy getting stoned and walking in nature. Somebody needs to kiss my ass. Whoever's on the judge, kiss my fucking hump. Reet. Just want to show you this. To set the scene, I'm going to have a drink of lemon balm tea, which has nothing to do with what I'm about to read out, but I'm going to get smoke wacky backy off the screen. How it normally works, and this is at one good turn. And look, I just want a big up Turn, man. Fucking hell. Like, Turn is amazing. The work that Turn's doing should be a fucking... There's your Pride of Britain award. Turn. So anyway, how it normally works, we spot the thing in the community and raise the alarm. COVID infection causing miscarriage, epilepsy, dementia, heart attacks, diabetes, lymphomania, vulnerability to strep, etc. Them, you can't say that, we don't know for certain. Then the research comes out, confirm the observations. Them, absolute fucking cricket. He said frickin', but I'm from Gateshead. Also, you know that HIV can cause neurological effects years after the acute infection. Imagine a neurologist saying, no, it's years after you caught it. It's not the HIV causing it. You can't imagine it now, but you can imagine it 30 years ago. That's where we are, like, and I'm going to illustrate some of that using a video, which has been flying around the COVID conscious community. Honestly, can't stand that term, but it's all we got right now. So this young lass, right? She is very excited because she's been told by a neurologist that she has FND, not long COVID, because her symptoms start 2 months after a COVID infection. Doctors are so whack. I'm going to illustrate why these doctors are fucking idiot. Well, I'll tell you what FND is. FND sometimes has a psychological cause as one of the relevant factors and may result from a somatic symptoms disorder characterized predominantly by multi-system symptoms that are associated with distress and or dysfunction and look like a physical illness. They're basically trying to, like, this doctor, and my point is this, the continuous professional development appears to be fucking non-existent. So this young woman is excited because she thinks she doesn't have fucking long COVID. We'll illustrate what the hell is going on after we've heard at least some of this. I found it quite a hard watch as somebody who's like been through it and understands and reads studies and stuff and knows that his doctor's full of shite. And the last thing I want to do is slag off medical people, but it's just getting to the point now where it's like constantly check this though.
I have a huge freaking announcement. I don't have long COVID. 2 years. I've been told that I had long COVID for 2 years. I just went to see a new neurologist today, and I just posted a little video saying I have a little crush on him, literally just because he's the first doctor to ever validate me, to empathize with me. I had a 2-hour appointment. Unheard of. I went to the hospital. 2 hours at the hospital with this guy, and he just started his practice like pretty recently, and he knows. I posted a TikTok earlier today.
Right. He just started his practice recently. Carrying on.
And did I even say what I have? Not yet. But anyway, I'm so excited. He knows the doctor that I originally wanted to get into, the specialist at Sunnybrook Hospital. He knows him. He called him by his first name, like a nickname. I was like, oh my God, you're so good. Right away, I knew he was amazing. Anyway, I got diagnosed with functional neurological disorder, FND, which for the people who've been commenting on my videos, like you might have FND. I've had a lot of people be like, do you have POTS? Do you have FND? Do you have chronic fatigue? All this stuff. I thought in the beginning I had functional neurological disorder, but that was me Google diagnosing myself. This is literally the third neurologist I've seen, and he's the first one to bring it up. And he's like, I can't believe that no one else has ever diagnosed you with this. And he straight up was like, you do not have long COVID. Because he said my symptoms would have happened like as soon as I had COVID. Like I was totally fine after I recovered from getting COVID for 3 months, and then it hit.
That's the key fucking point. He doesn't even know the basics, man. He does not even know. Like, seriously, like, right? This is just breaking my nut. This, like, it'll not ultimately. I'm using like Gates said terms. It's not really breaking me nut. I'm a strong man, but I'm fucking telling you, like, this is holding different realities depending on who I'm around is fucking mad hard. So I'll be honest with you. I'm just gonna be fucking blatant. Sometimes I'm doing this not just to fucking put it out in the world. I'm doing it so the people around us can fuck off. Jesus fuck. Anyway, you know that HIV can cause neurological effects years after the acute infection. Imagine a neurologist saying, no, it's years after you caught it. It's not the HIV causing it. Can't imagine that now, but you can imagine it 30 years ago, right? Dude, like, we're being failed to bits. We're having to do this to a degree ourselves. Fortunately, there's a hell of a lot of fucking qualified people, and the overwhelming amount of science in our favor. I just don't know what's going on in these hospitals. They're treating people as if like the pandemic hasn't happened and it isn't like a bag of research. Why aren't they giving this last like fucking scans? The poor lass is absolutely and utterly right. Cock a hoop. Let us see the rest of it. Here she is.
All my like crazy long COVID symptoms, FND symptoms now. He said if it was long COVID, you wouldn't have had like that grace period, those 3 months. It would have just like happened as soon as you got COVID. So I've been lied to. There's me breaking the news. So finally, I got like a diagnosis. And I have a great specialist. So it took 2 years. Guys, there's hope. There's hope. Believe in yourself.
Dude, I wish you the best. I surely do. And, you know, maybe you do have FND, but you're taking that from somebody who doesn't know the basics about long COVID and how things are triggered down the line. Like, if somebody with a medical degree doesn't fucking know this, right? How can the people out in the world be expected to? Or, get this, be somewhat immune to the likes of Farage and GB News, which we shall introduce after we've took some comments. Who's a boot? Who's a boot? Jack Beck. Fucking hell, she's annoying. No comment, but I. That's fucking funny, Jack. Right. Glasgow. Neurologist finds neurological condition shocked. Also, an experience is a red flag already. Fucking crazy, man. Like misdiagnoses left and right. I mean, I'll be clear. I mean, this isn't an isolated case. I wouldn't just stick some mad isolated case into the mix out of like millions of fucking doctors. This is becoming, I don't know, it's not like the whole thing, but there's like, you've got doctors who are across this who are using their own time to find things out, it appears. And you've got this shit. How do you not know the basics, man? Not you listening to this now. Like, I mean, if you listen to the first time, you wouldn't be expected to, I guess. You wouldn't expect it at all. It's not a quiz. But you get me point. We expect the people with the medical degrees to look after us. Glasgow. That's not how long COVID works. Don't even need to be a doctor to know that. In it, though. Crazy, man. Gareth's asking, do you think we'll ever reach a point where folks with post-COVID syndrome, aka long COVID, can be treated like HIV parents? Well, sir, what the studies that I've seen, and we've detailed on other shows as well, so if you want like more detail, please do go to those marked shows. It affects the T cells in the immune system the same way or similar way that HIV does. So there's quite a few people who are saying that yes, down the line, if you want to know where we're at, there's a documentary about ACT UP, the HIV and AIDS campaigners, and what they went through. A lot of those people from there are saying now, with long COVID, it feels the same and it looks the same in terms of the denialism from the general population, and also your classic right-wing people like cracking on like this is a lie. So yes, I'm gonna say yes. I think that will happen, but it'll only happen because of campaigners, people like us, people like hopefully getting journalists on covering this. There's some reasonably decent ones, but it's like by the time it gets through editing and stuff, the titles didn't really match the article a lot of the time. And Gareth says, whereby there'll be meds or something that can be treated through medication or shots, etc. Yes, we're already seeing some doctors who are across HIV, who have read the studies, who are prescribing HIV meds to long COVID sufferers. So let's fucking keep our fingers crossed, everybody, and hope that helps. Paul Elliott's in, Ari Toss, Ari Lush people, right back at you, Paul. Really pleased to see you, mate. Jez Hunt. She might have both, but she does have a medical system you pay for and has a neurologist to return to again and again. She might, and you're quite right. She's got on that you have to pay for, which may see, strangely enough, them bringing people back again and again. Because here's an example for you. In the UK, the veterinary system has been bought out by a lot of different corporates. What they're doing is they're keeping the same brand names for a lovely little village vet who was reasonably priced and all that. The prices have went up through the friggin' roof. That's soon come when Wes Streeton gets his hands on this. Honestly, you mugs who are voting Labour, fuck off. Don't even fucking like listen or whatever, because you're clearly not open to reality. Like, you want to put Wes Streeton as health secretary with Peter Thiel and Mandelson giving our data to Palantir. Class. Well done, everybody. Class. You vote for that Labour, yeah? Go for it. Jack's saying, sounds like she went to different specialists until she got the results she wanted. I'm not surprised as well, Jack. I don't like hear why you're saying it. When you're in that, and it was like nearly 2 years, maybe more, for me. And when that was happening with me, we didn't have all of these studies. So, like, it was just like, what the fuck is wrong with him? You will look for anything just to give you a bit of respite. She's cock a hoop, and I just feel bad for her. Because, like, as we've seen, the neurologist doesn't even know the basics. like the basics, the delay. A poor lass. And you're right, she might have both because it's one of those things, man. It's like, I remember when it happened to me, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. It was a loose link between shingles and COVID. And it was like, I think it was the Irish Times or something like that. And it was like it was like a paragraph. And I was like, that was the starting point for this for me. And I started researching this when I was ill. Obviously, it was up and down, right? Because sometimes, like, you know, you can't do a thing. It's weird though, because sometimes like you think, oh, I'm fucking sound, you wake up better, and then you go and exercise, and it's called post-exertional malaise or something. Like I'd be fucked for days. There would be times as well. I think this is called POT, where you would stand up. I would stand up. Why am I putting it outside myself? It's a fucking trauma response. That when I would stand up, I would hold onto the wall, and my heart would beat out my chest. You know. And it was scary. And when it was happening, I thought I was having a fucking heart attack. So I do get it, man. I understand why she's like this. I just like, you know, having experienced it, or at least a version of whatever it is, because it's, you know, there's different ways it manifests and expresses itself. I understand why she's like drinking heavy copium. It's crazy. Glasgow. Pretty sure long COVID fucked me and the other folks who had stem cell therapy. All our bodies started attacking themselves again at the same time halfway during the pandemic. That's wild. That I'd like to know more. Is that like across the board, like people who had stem cells? That's definitely something, man. Anyway, let me pull this up on the screen. I'll just have myself a quick drink of tea. In fact, I'm going to finish it, and I'm going to put a random one of these on. Let's have rock. Right up my street. Rock. Fucking having it. Read, need more of this. Right, before I play this Farage video, right, let's just debunk it from the fucking jump. And we can play it all the way through then. This is from COVID-19 Vaccination Guide for Healthcare Workers. Very important, from the 1st of March, 2021. Gov.uk is your source. Will the vaccine protect you? The COVID-19 vaccination will reduce the chance of you suffering from COVID-19 disease. Like all medicines, no vaccine is completely effective, and it takes a few weeks for your body to build up protection from the vaccine. Some people may still get COVID-19 despite having a vaccination, but this should lessen the severity of any infection. The vaccine has been shown to be effective, and no safety concerns were seen in studies of more than 20,000 people. This is March 2021. There's a lot more studies since then. Will the vaccine protect those you care for? The evidence on whether COVID-19 vaccination reduces the chance of you passing on the virus is less clear. Most vaccines reduce the overall risk of infection, but some vaccinated people may get mild or asymptomatic infection and therefore be able to pass the virus on. So they are saying that even when you get vaccinated, you can pass this on. We all knew this at the time, or at least I thought so. Anyway, gov.uk, it is highly likely that any infection in a vaccinated person will be less severe and that viral shedding will be shortened. We therefore expect that vaccinated health and care staff will be less likely to pass infection to their friends and family and to the vulnerable people they care for. Less likely. It never said no. But this is hilarious, this. David Icke going in on GB News and Nigel Farage. I don't know what MAM is. I think... So anyway, Icke says this here. I'll just lob this in the stream, and then we'll play the video. He's having a gun. The MAM hero who brought the COVID hoax and the fake vaccine, and who bought the COVID hoax and the fake vaccine and wanted Tony Blair in capitals to be the vaccine czar, now complains that we were told lies. That's your job, to establish that at the start, not when it's obvious. God, it's pathetic. So anyway, Ike's saying that like everything that we've just said fucking doesn't exist or something. I don't know. Like these fucking arseholes are just claiming, like David Icke's like having to go at these two on like moral purity or something. All of them are wrong. But anyway, listen to these fucking idiots.
No, it's dead right. It's dead right. Because we need a lot. There's a lot we need to know. Don't forget, Patrick, we were told, take the vaccine, the so-called vaccine, right? And you won't catch COVID.
Farage had the vaccine. He knows that's not true. Let's go on.
Take the vaccine and you won't pass COVID on. Both of those things were totally, completely untrue.
That is a lie. And given the amount of Ofcom fucking chastisements against GB News, let's say, this mob should be absolutely and utterly taken off the fucking air. Can you imagine how many people, nanas basically, watching this shite and being, oh, there's one man, Nigel, he's never let her down. Fuck the vaccine. They're just trying to kill her, man.
We were told the vaccine was safe in every way. Frankly, it had not been through anything like the normal testing for any kind of vaccine in terms of trials.
Right, I'm going to stop that there. And Scientist Goes Pop will tell you this. It's been the most rigorously tested vaccine in history. And the difference was it was done at pace with all of the world's like firepower in that field focused on this one thing. So it was a lot shorter in terms of getting it to market. Why? Because we were all in lockdown and it was very important for the vaccine relax strategy at the time of governments around the world to change things. And they needed to do that by putting out the vaccine, which has been very, very effective, by the way.
And now we learn that the so-called vaccine, do you know there are pensioners now, elderly people on their 7th jab? That is not the kind of vaccine you and I grew up with.
Playing to weaponize nostalgia now, invoking old people, stopping short of thinking, who do you think you're, of singing, who do you think you're kidding, Mr. Hitler, and just generally channeling the whole Dad's Army vibe, with the heavy insinuation that old people, why don't you stop taking the jabs? You can guarantee these are having them on the sly. He's got Novavax down his fucking bell, this fool.
Well, you have a vaccine once and you're inoculated for life. So I do think there needs to be a massive...
Not all of them. I speak as somebody who used to train people to go on expeditions to various developing countries. We used to have to sign off their vaccinations. Some of them would last for a while. Some of them, you needed boosters. I'm speaking in a really bored tone because these fucking leather-faced arseholes are killing nanas.
Investigation, not just into harms that were caused by the vaccine, and all vaccines cause side effects, and we know that. But there do seem to be an alarming number of people, young men in particular, who've developed myocarditis and other heart conditions.
Right, stopping that again. Russell Brand also put something out on this basis. Let me use that slide as I've lovingly prepared it, and we can start to unpack this. Russell Brand recently published a video in which he talked about a study performed by researchers at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in LA, which shows a rise in heart attacks in young people. In the video, Brand blames this on the COVID-19 vaccine. What Brand does not mention is the study was ran between April and September 2020 before the vaccine was available. Just as an aside, if you just tune in now, I developed long COVID symptoms a way after I was infected with COVID, and I started to improve when I got the fucking vaccine, which was a good 6 months after I developed long COVID symptoms, just so motherfuckers be known. Anyway, well, Brand has not mentioned the multiple studies which show the link between COVID infections, heart attacks, pulmonary embolisms, and strokes. Farage there is also repeating that lie, repeating the lie, linking the vaccine to en masse at the level we're seeing it to the vaccine and heart attacks. Silly. Anyway, now millions of people are acting in ways contrary to reality, which is likely to see them seriously unwell from things they won't have the knowledge base to link to why it happened. Repeat COVID infections. Brand works for the establishment and is there to trick people into think they're anti-establishment. He's very good at it. Right. Two things. We are, like, as you saw, we've got, like, compared to a lot of podcasts, we've got a good sized platform, and I thank you all for it. Right. Here's the vibe. We're not going to counter this. We're countering this with maybe our audience or whatever we want to fucking call it, right? But we're not going to fucking counter GB News and Peter Thiel's heavily funded fucking Rumble with Brand's fucking 7 million YouTube subscribers. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't try. So anyway, we'll go on with this fucking goblin-looking cunt bag. That is, well, Nigel, I was looking out for her.
So I'm not getting conspiratorial about this, but let's have it out in the open. But I want to know as well, why we were lied to. I want to know why they were trying to vaccinate kids of primary school age.
Vaccinating kids is a really, really, really good idea. If he goes on to say that kids can't like fucking transmit COVID and all that now, seriously, like he wants jailing.
When COVID posed almost no threat to them whatsoever.
That is absolute horseshit. Last year, right? The government, the long COVID stats, it was March 2023 and it stood at 1.9 million people. 32,000 of them were kids. Like they're repeating this lie because they have to get the economy moving. So one of the keys to that is bending fucking plague pits, aka schools.
And you know, Boris Johnson and his government put in place an absolutely draconian system, not just of lockdowns, but of £500 million of taxpayers' money spent on newspaper wraparounds, on adverts. Remember, can you look into his eyes? If you don't take the vaccine, you'll kill your grandparents. It all turned out to be completely untrue. This needs a proper, full public inquiry. Richard is 100% right.
So what he was referring to is like basically the cosmic right and just generally who seem to be the people who vote for reform, which is the new sort of chill vehicle, the reformation of the Brexit party. They're literally gonna, like, nanas will be watching this now and they'll be like stacking off the COVID vaccine. Families are not going to be able to link what happens to them down the line to COVID because they don't have the knowledge base, and it's actually actively being fucking obfuscated by these grifters. So younger people, Brand, that's what he's there for. Older people, GB News, Farage, and all of these fucking Patrick Christie talking head cunts. I mean, they were trying to deny long COVID the other week. That's what they're there for. It's like basically like misinformation on a grand scale, and it's there to just, they're trying to break everything because they've worked out that if they have very little regulations, they can have this like libertarian fucking wank fest. And if they're not bothered about like the country and how it breaks things, whilst being the people who say they're patriotic and blaming everybody other than them for this, grannies are going to vote for them. Grannies are going to do that with their whole chest. And they're going to do that because they think they're telling the truth. And then they'll pop off and it's like, get off the care bill. It's literally what's happening. Call us a madman, all you fucking want. Show me where I'm wrong. I welcome it because this is a fucking hellscape. Imagine having to like research and cover this every fucking day. Look, we can fix all this, and I'm still turning up because I believe we fucking can. And I'm still like carrying the weight of like people in my life and how they're relating to all of this shit. It's not easy. It's not easy to have somebody like me in your life, be through this screen, through your fucking ears or whatever in 2024. But it's not going to be easy in this period and going forward to see our people popping off. And I tell you what it is, right? Like just on like, you know, masks and things and how like, you know, we're not seeing them at protests, are we? You'd think people who claim intelligence would be like, right, well, over the long game, if we wear masks and they don't, we win. We beat all of the fucking GB News money, all of the heavily funded Rumble and all that. Because when the likes of Brand and others get ill, who's going to be speaking all the shit? That'll be us, the well people. One thing I do want to point out is, though, I'm actually going to do a breakdown of this and the COVID stuff around Taylor Swift's concerts. I've touched on it before. They actually have this UV pen thing. It's like really expensive because I was like saying trying to find out how much they were. And you stick it up your nose, and it like it just stops viruses being able to like take hold in that cavity for like, I think it's like 2 days. So There are, as we've touched on before, rich men are like I saw, right? So like the Aranet 4 is the CO2 monitor, right? Which is the industry standard. And I saw readings, like somebody taking a picture when I sat in Parliament, right? And the readings are better than the average CO2 readings outside. They're in the 400s. And as you know, I've touched on the fact they've had this ventilation system in since 2020, where they weren't acknowledging this thing was airborne. Just absolutely the worst on the man. Gareth is saying, Farage, let kids be kids. It should be up to the parents to raise their kids and not the state. Fucking hell, man, I know. Right. It's in Farage's interest to help collapse the NHS by flooding it with more ill people. He's always wanted that sweet big pharma investment cash in his Coots account. Hard to argue with that, Jez. Jack Beck. It's disgusting that people like Farage can get away with spreading such blatant information about. It is, and that's the world that we're living in, and Ofcom is fucking shite. MDB Matty has never claimed intelligence. Seems daft to kill off your main voting demographic, though. It's not really like Farage has never been elected in this country. It's not about like getting elected. It's about moving the needle. All of this shit is just an offshoot of the establishment and the Tories recognizing that there were their support was being eroded because they're just a bunch of cunts and everything that they've done. And then all of the overhang in the north from like Thatcher and that. So it was used to drag ostensibly the Conservative Party to the right. It's just a big old blag. And that's the vibe, really. I mean, it's not much deeper than that. It's just like a blag. We've talked about in the United States how Bannon's used Kennedy as a stalking horse, being pioneered successfully by the Farages and that of this world, you know. You see Chega in Portugal, they're on the Bannon tip. Orban, Hungary. You got Vox in Spain, but big up Spain for fucking them off at the ballot box and that, you know. Jez is saying, I think I've landed a film job, so I'll be picking your brain about a filter for the workshop there, plus be bumming you some cash for the work. Yeah, love you for that, mate. Honestly, at the minute, if anybody's got any spare cash about, I could do with it because that's life, isn't it? It's how it's going. Everything's mad expensive, and I'm trying my best to hold this down whilst trying to do other things to. It's many of you have heard this, but if you can, would be lush. Also, definitely, mate. What I'm trying to do actually is, as I say, get a deal going with Smart Air. So I'll definitely be putting you onto that because they're just, like I say, social enterprise and really good. I'll be speaking to them later today, actually. So get in touch and we'll fucking sort it out when you're ready. Matty, I won't sell crack for you, sadly. But you go, girl. You go. Good luck with that crack. Jez, I am your BD Peter Thiel. Honestly, I'd love it. I'd love you to be me Peter Thiel. Win the lottery and be my Peter Thiel. Seriously, the amount of material would get out of that would be fucking hilarious, mate. Please become rich. Anyway, love to all yous, legit, because fucking hell, I actually do feel 50% better today. And just knowing that somebody wants to be my beardy Peter Thiel is just a wonderful. I'm going to go off and stroke my wonderful penis and think about what that future looks like. Love to all of you, especially Jez Thiel. Bye.